Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning and welcome to the CBT News Daily Newscast. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for joining us. Not only can you watch us here, we are now streaming on Roku, Apple TV, as well as iOS and Android mobile devices. But first, here are today's top automotive industry stories.
Roughly 113,000 of Ford's best-selling F-150 pickup trucks are being recalled due to a faulty rear axle hub bolt. A NHTSA report filed on January 3rd states that the damaged axle hubs can cause the vehicle to roll away while parked, increasing the risk of a crash. The automaker said it plans to notify customers of the affected vehicles later this month. However, the possible, quote, fix to the recall is currently under development. Samsung, Hyundai, and Kia are collaborating to provide linked home and vehicle services to help EV owners save time and money. Both automakers will integrate Samsung's SmartThings IoT platform into their connected vehicle services through a new arrangement, meaning owners can operate household appliances such as their air conditioner and lights from their cars. Alternatively, they can modify the charging schedule and warm their vehicle from home. Vice President of Hyundai and Kia's Infotainment Development Center, Hyundai Kwon, stated that the company intends to speed up technological advancement, quote, continuously to make global Hyundai and Kia customers' journeys meaningful. On January 4th, the North American Car, Truck, and Utility of the Year Award celebrated its 30-year anniversary, kicking off the 2024 award season at M1 Concourse Club. The Toyota Prius and Honda Accord competed fiercely for the Best Car title, while the updated Prius emerged victorious. Meanwhile, the Kia EV9 and Ford Super Duty pickup trucks received comparable accolades for being the best-selling SUVs and trucks. Self-driving technology startup Mobileye Global issued a warning on January 4th, stating that declining orders for Tier 1 customers looking to dispose of extra inventory could negatively impact the company's performance. The excess inventory from a decrease in demand from these customers who stockpiled chip supplies to prevent shortages following the supply constraints experienced in 2021 and 2022. However, Mobileye is optimistic that the vast majority of this extra inventory will be used in its first quarter of the year as supply chain concerns ease, and it expects 2024 Q1 revenue to decrease by 50% from the same period last year. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Karina Deal, owner and CEO of Deal Automotive Group, to discuss her incredible journey in one of her newest collision centers. We'll be right back.
Well, if you're not already subscribed to CBT News, now is the perfect time to do it. For over a decade, CBT has brought you exclusive and in-depth interviews with dealer principals, OEM executives, industry analysts, and top-level sales and management trainers. Join the thousands of automotive professionals that rely on CBT News for the insights that drive profits and maximize the bottom line. Subscribe today.
Take us back and tell us how you got into the auto industry and how you ended up running 22 different franchises.
Wow, I got in by default,
Okay.
quite frankly. My husband was the car dealer, and he died.
Okay.
He broke his ankle, got a plate and 6 screws. 4 weeks later, he was brain dead,
Oh my gosh.
paralyzed, and we took him off of life support. So then it unbelievable,
Yeah.
46 years old.
Ah.
So then it became a decision of, what do I do?
Right.
We had 2 children, and when he died, Rachel was 12 and Matt was 18. And of course, the sharks came swimming. You know, you want to sell the store, but
How many stores did you have at the time?
we had one.
Okay.
We
one.
had 70 employees,
Wow.
one location,
Right.
but you know, I wanted to keep it for his legacy and
Sure.
for what we had dreamed about.
Sure.
So it was about 4 weeks later, I walked into the dealership and decided I was going to be the car dealer. What a story, right?
And up until that point, had you played a role in the dealership operation?
I did some minor things.
Okay.
I was the stay-at-home parent.
Okay.
I was raising the kids.
Sure.
I was involved in their lives, and Matt was the one doing that side. It was kind of a traditional relationship, right?
Sure. That's as it is in so many cases
Yeah.
with dealers today, right? And so you make the decision at that point in time. No, I'm gonna be the dealer principal, and we're gonna run this thing.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I went in and I would keep the door closed because I didn't know what I was doing, quite frankly, you know.
Sure.
And what the staff would do was daily they would bring in everything Matt was looking at.
Sure.
So back then we had all the paper, right? Like they'd put a dock on my desk that was this big. But I'd call people. There were so many wonderful people helping me behind the scenes.
Sure.
And I'd call them and say, hey, this is called dock. What do I do with that?
Right.
You know, and they'd walk me through it.
Sure.
But I would never let anyone else know I didn't know.
Okay.
It was really important, you know. And then one day the controller knocks on the door and comes in, and Lisa said, you know, the ladies don't know what to do when the door's closed. When Matt had the door closed, you weren't allowed to disturb him. I was like, open the door.
Yeah.
And that's when it really began and probably really hit me because I was learning so much. I'm still learning today.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's such a crazy business.
There's no question about it. And from that point, were the OEMs okay with everything?
Oh no, not even a
weren't?
little bit. No, I was a wife coming in.
Sure.
And one of the manufacturers really didn't want to approve me. So I spent about 8 months. I would have to give them a daily list of tasks that I did, and I did it with my attorney.
Really? Wow.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
But I wasn't qualified.
Yeah.
Even though we had a great staff.
Yeah.
So finally,
and you're selling cars, you're making money.
we're still doing everything we were doing,
Sure,
you know. And finally, the dealer placement guy called me, who I loved, and he said, "Listen, in the history of this company, Karina, they've never had this situation, and they're not going to approve you."
Oh my gosh.
Now, okay, I have 2 kids to feed, and I have 70 team members that we're feeding. And that's when I said, okay, if this is what you're going to do, I'm on the phone. I'm going to call every national news agency. And I'm going to tell them how you're going to take a widow with 2 children's livelihood away. They approved me the next day.
Interestingly, how that happens.
Right?
Yeah.
And be sure to watch the full-length interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that does it for our show today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone on behalf of all of us at CBT News. See you next time.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content.